Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Deep Dive Discography. Aaron here. I'm just here to talk about the Fit for an Autopsy tour that is currently hitting Europe. Anyone who caught the interview that we put out on Friday, I got to go out on Monday, May 9th, to the Cat House in Glasgow, hang out with Jason Evans, the vocalist from Ingested. And basically, we had a little powwow. I got to take some pictures of the show, watch the show, a lot of fun. Um, 5 bands on the tour. I mean, you really got your money's worth. End of the day, the bands being Fit for an Autopsy, obviously headlined, Ingested, Enterprise Earth, Great American Ghost, and Sentinels. Nothing like your brain just going blank for a whole second. Sentinels kicked off the tour, or I guess the show, probably the tour as well. That would make sense. Sentinels kicked off the show about half an hour after doors. Doors opened at about 6, even though the tickets said 5:30. Kind of feel bad for everyone who had to stand outside. Anyone who knows the UK, it was quite rainy. It wasn't ideal conditions to be outside and waiting. It wasn't particularly warm either. So, but I mean, it is what it is. Everyone got in. It ended up being a sold out show in the end, from my understanding. But yeah, Sentinels kicked off the show. Sentinels are right there. These are the pictures that I took, and I'm going to try and keep the right band on screen when I'm talking about them. It's a little bit hard because some bands were a lot easier to get pictures of than others. So yeah, that's Sentinels. That's the front man. They only played songs off their new album, Collapse by Design, which they actually just released an instrumental version for. So anyone who is actually a big fan and doesn't know about that and wants to do covers, it's a really easy way to do it. But if you don't know Sentinels, great deathcore band. Fucking mind keeps going blank. Great deathcore band. They're out of New Jersey. They kicked off the show with Epitaph and just kind of powered their way through. I mean, you only have so long, especially as the opening band, but they managed to fit 6 songs in as a whole, which is a pretty good chunk. For anyone who is a fan, they actually closed on Embers, which is easily the song I was looking forward to seeing. I learned about them with this tour, so I only knew a couple songs properly going into it. But yeah, so they ended their set with Embers. They had Josh, the vocalist from Monasteries. For anyone who's familiar with them, they're a UK-based band. Actually come and join them for that song. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, they opened the show really well. They started to get the crowd going pretty heavily. So there wasn't a whole lot to complain about. It would suck if you ended up missing it because, I mean, they did really well. There's not a whole lot else to say. They really did get control over the crowd, and it became pretty obvious how much the crowd needed a show like this after everything that's gone on in the past couple of years. It was definitely time for some people to let out some energy. Next up, we had Great American Ghost. Anyone familiar with Great American Ghost? I mean, again, like, basically this whole lineup is just a great blend of kick-ass deathcore bands. Funny enough, my Marcus, that's his name. That's the guy who does this shit with me. Marcus is actually out in America as we speak. He's also hitting up a big deathcore show, the Chaos and Carnage. So we're gonna have even more deathcore content alongside all of the deathcore episodes we've done lately. So I'm sorry if you're not a fan of deathcore, but we're getting there. We're pushing out of it. We've talked about like every band there is to talk about at this point. But anyways, yeah, Great American Ghost went on next. Again, they only had about half an hour. They did focus mostly on their new album, of course, Torture World, and it's hard to not just talk more than good about this band. For anyone who's not familiar with Scotland, I'm pretty sure it's a Scotland thing. There's a chant that Scottish crowds have which is here we fucking go. And that's how you can tell that you're getting a crowd real hyped. And for the second band out of 5 to get that chant going and getting people that hyped and getting the pit going pretty heavily, you things are gonna get pretty brutal by the end. But yeah, they focused on Torture World. They open with Kingmaker, going into No Savior, Womb. Actually, Torture World itself featured Travis, the vocalist from Enterprise Earth, or at least a live vocalist from Enterprise Earth. He came on and joined them, and yeah, I mean, it was an absolutely killer show. The pit was really starting in this one. Luckily and surprisingly, there wasn't really any technical issues throughout. I think the band started a touch late, but that was just to get everyone in. But outside of that, throughout the whole show, this is one of the very few shows where there's been little to no technical issues. So I guess over the pandemic, everyone just kind of got their ducks in a row and figured it out. They closed on Altar of Snakes. That side, that's the band with Travis. Yeah, so they closed on Altar of Snakes. One of their heaviest songs. Definitely got the pit going at full fucking speed. It was intense, but even then, we still haven't hit the intensity that this show will get to. So Enterprise Earth. I mean, this is where things started to get pretty hot and heavy. The venue was hot as all hell. I mean, like that's putting it lightly. It was insanely hot in there. They didn't really have a primary focus to the album. I don't know if that's because there's only 2 actual members in the band and the rest are live members, from my understanding. But Travis is a badass vocalist. The whole band killed it and did basically everything right. They had the entire crowd in the palm of their hands. I'm willing to bet they made quite a few fans tonight, from people who may not have known them. It was nice to see them also introduce themselves a little bit and kind of say thank you for having us out. Having never been to the UK or to Europe or anything like that, they've never been across the water. They opened with Reanimate Disintegrate. They went into You Couldn't Save Me, Where Dreams Are Broken, Psalm of Agony, Sleep is for the Dead, and the Failsafe Fallacy. They had the pit going from beginning to end. There's only so much to say at the end of the day. Yes, the pictures went back. There's only so much to say at the end of the day. It was an intense show. And again, we had the Here We Go chant going through a good chunk of their set. But if I had to guess, I would say a good chunk of people, maybe not most, came primarily for Ingested. Not exactly hometown, but the one band from the UK who were on this bill. So, yeah, once Ingested took the stage, things got intense. So there's Jason. Jason was a very nice guy. I highly suggest you go check out the interview that I did with him. It is video, don't worry. You get to see the guy talk and laugh about and all that kind of stuff. Very nice man. So yeah, Ingested, they came out, and from start to end, it was nonstop pit. It was after every song, Here We Go. And I think security may have hated him. So there were signs up around the venue, right? Scotland, England. I think it's a UK thing. It might just be a Scottish thing. That they're. I'm trying to remember. I think it is a UK thing. They're not a big fan of crowd surfers. They are really not a fan. So there were signs up around the venue saying no crowd surfing. Done. No crowd surfing. You can enforce that to an extent, but when every 2 seconds there's a crowd surfer coming over the top of the crowd in front of you, it's really hard for you to argue. It's really hard for you to try and kick everyone out, isn't it? So Ingested's new album, Where Only Gods May Tread. Yes, I had to write it down again. If anyone watched the interview, I don't know why my brain cannot remember that album title. I know the album cover. It's got the big statue with the demon dude on it, demon god boy guy thing. Anyways, so that's the newest album they're touring for. They also have a new song called Rebirth, which they threw into the set. They opened with the list, went straight into no half measures. I mean, everyone knew the fuck your gods, fuck your kings part. Listening to a whole crowd try to yell that while the pit's going, while there's crowd surfers going over your head. I mean, you can probably guess this where getting pictures became pretty difficult. I think I took pictures during the first song or two, and then that was it. I couldn't. I had to put the camera down. Well, put the camera to my side and constantly lift people over my head. Unfortunately, Cat House didn't really have a proper photo pit. So I did my best. I don't know. I'm sure maybe security would let me just stand in front anyways, but regardless, they didn't have a proper photo pit. I would have gone shoved out of there anyways as soon as the crowd surfer started. But yeah, so they played Rebirth. Rebirth is their new song that got a very, very, very warm reception, which is nice to see. That obviously people are hyped for a new album, so it shouldn't be too long before you see Ingested again. I mean, they're touring again through Europe soon, so yeah, Ingested kick ass. You should see them if they come near you anytime soon. They went into Better Off Dead, Impending Dominance, Invidious, and Dead Seraphic Forms. Yeah, I mean it was a pretty stacked set list. Again, only 7 songs. Everyone played pretty well the same length as everyone before them outside of Fit for an Autopsy. I mean, it is their tour, so I'm not really gonna argue with that fact. And I think everyone was excited to hear the new songs from Fit for an Autopsy, which obviously means the second Ingested finished, the chants started again. Here we fucking go. And the pit kicked off from the first note of the first song. After I mean I tried to get pictures through the first song. You would not believe how many essentially dead pictures I have. They're not good. I managed a couple of okay ones, this being one. I always forget which way to point. So I got this one, and there's one more in here. Oh, what the future holds is the new album from Fit for an Autopsy. They opened with the title track, went into the Sea of Tragic Beasts, Absolute Hope, Absolute Hell. I mean, would you call them deathcore? Not really sure. But for an extreme band like them, they have a lot of songs that are really catchy, really, really sing-songy in a sense, which is a lot of fun. Watching an entire pit dance around, running into each other, singing along. It was really nice to see how into it everyone got, because I mean the pit was trying to start their own wall of death. Like, yeah, Ingested started one. I believe Enterprise Earth also started one. But the Pitches just decided to start their own. They're like, fuck it. Fuck it, we'll just do our own. We'll do our own Wall of Death. Well, because it's fun. Why not? They went to Far From Heaven, Warfare, No Man Is Without Fear, Hydra. Hydra's a lot of fun live. If you've never seen Fit for an Autopsy, they have the line in there where it's cut off one head to grow back during the chorus, and listening to the whole crowd just yell that is something else. Heads Will Hang, Iron Moon, Black Mammoth, Pandora, Your Pain Is Mine. And they had one encore song, which is the one song that I really, really wanted to see off of the new album, which is Two Towers. And Two Towers is straight up Gojira vibes. It was heavy. It was everything you could possibly want to close a set on. People were definitely tired, but people would, I think if Fit for an Autopsy played a couple more songs, the crowd would have kept going at the same pace. They did finish about, if I remember right, 10:30-ish. Curfew in the UK is 11. You cannot go past that in most cases. I think there's a few cases where you can, but generally you can't go past 11. And the Cat House turns into a nightclub afterwards. So, yeah, they just kind of hit that time, which is fine. I wanted some food. The downside being it was pissing down rain outside. So, it was nice to cool down, but when you're trying to walk around with your camera and after a show and all sorts of other stuff that I had to bring with me, it's not so much fun. But all around, it was a great show. If you're going to hit up this tour at any point throughout Europe, I believe they still have a couple weeks left on the tour. If I'm not mistaken, they're in Cologne tonight and Berlin tomorrow. Maybe. So I think they're in Berlin when this goes out. But I could be wrong. But regardless, there's still plenty of dates left. Definitely hit this tour up. Definitely go see these bands. 5 bands for a fairly cheap price. And they all kill it. They all bring it. They all give it their all. So yeah. I've not really worked out how I want to do a live review. If I had to give it a score as a tour, I'd say 9 out of 10. It was a great show. I don't know what more I could ask for, really. The only reason I'm not saying 10 is because I don't know what more I could ask for. I'm scared to give it a perfect 10, okay? Just give me that. Anyways, thank you for watching. Check out the podcast. It's out every Tuesday on all the streaming services and here as well on our YouTube. And subscribe to our Patreon because all of our videos are going out there first. That includes our podcast and most other stuff. The only thing that's not going out there first right now is interviews, but I may change that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.